We're back. It's your movie review men. I'm Jeff Johnson, and this is
Claude Fates here, and I want to introduce a guest we have today. He is my nephew, Sebastian. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Sebastian.
Hi.
So Sebastian, along with being my nephew, he has a YouTube channel called Bash Bash Gaming. So he reviews games and different things.
Yep.
check out Bash Bash Gaming. Thanks so much, Sebastian, for joining us in this review today. And today we're going to be reviewing Spider-Man No Way Home. Claude, Sebastian, tell the folks about Spider-Man No Way Home.
So, in my opinion, I personally think that it was kind of cool how they brought in all the different Spider-Man, all the different villains from all the original movies from the 2002 and the Tobey Maguires and the Andrew Garfield movies.
Okay.
That is awesome.
So in the movie, yes, and that was one of the things that he liked. But in the story, we are introduced to a bunch of different Spider-Mans, and so the movie starts where directly from the last movie, where Spider-Man has defeated Mysterio, but Mysterio has basically set a trap and outed the fact that he is in actually Peter Parker. So Peter Parker and Spider-Man, everyone knows who he is, and it completely turns the life of Peter Parker, his friends, his family upside down. So the setup of the story is that he goes to Doctor Strange to try to put everything back the way it was. So he wants to go back, where everybody does not know, where everyone the whole world doesn't know who he is, just his friends and him. And he's hoping this will be a simple solution.
A simple fix. He thinks he can fix it real simply, but it doesn't work out simply, does it, Sebastian?
No.
He thought he could just fix it.
Yeah.
So this portion of our review show, we'll do the full review with spoilers. And then at the very end, we'll do our little quick intro piece. So this part of our review, that's the full review, Sebastian. Like you said, it was kind of, were you surprised when the full number of Spider-Man were revealed?
Yeah.
And what did you think about it?
About the difference.
What did you think about it once they revealed that they were going to have two more Spider-Men?
I think that it was pretty cool how they, like I said at the beginning, I think it was pretty cool how they brought in all the different villains and all the different Spider-Man from all the different movies.
Yeah, it was pretty neat that the setup started with him having villains, but villains that we had never seen with with Andrew Garfield. And they were the villains from either Andrew Garfield's films or Tobey Maguire's films. It was a super pleasant surprise for me to see the Dr. Octopus actor, because he looked the same. I mean, he looked the same. He looked amazing, and he looked exactly the same.
Yeah, it's been so long, and he literally looked like he was like the exact same age.
He looked the same age, didn't he? And so that was very cool. And then they made some changes to Electro, but they even made that kind of a fun part of the movie. Like Electro said, "Hey, I like this outfit better." He was like, "I want to stay right here in this version of me. I like this new version of me." And I thought that was cool. We got the Sandman. Sandman always wears the striped shirt. It's kind of like Hulk's purple pants. It doesn't have to make sense. It's what he wears. It's got to be a green and blue striped shirt. Even though he's made out of sand, maybe it's his favorite shirt. I don't know. He's always got that shirt on.
And also, what did you think about how you think the Green Goblin? What did they do with him?
I think that with the Green Goblin, it was kind of cool because of how they brought in Norman Osborn and how how they did it in like how in the Tobey Maguire universe, you're like just learning about him, and then he gets transported over here. He's trying to be good, but then he's gonna be bad again. The Green Goblin is trying to take over him.
Yeah, that was quite a performance, right? I mean, he really seemed like he was being good, and then when he turned bad, it was like, ooh, he's really, 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 really bad and strong. He was kind of beating the mess out of Spider-Man and really cruel. Which actually made the film great. I think I like this Green Goblin. I thought this Green Goblin was spookier and meaner than in the Tobey Maguire movie. No doubt about it. He was a bad dude.
Yeah, I like, and he was, to me, he was scarier because he didn't have that mask on. I did not like that mask, but I like what they did, with the mask and how he was just not wearing it eventually. But this leads also to another surprise, Sebastian. What was the surprise you were telling me about, earlier?
I think it was a surprise in case of how Aunt May kind of looked different in all the Spider-Man movies. Say, like in Tobey Maguire, she looked older, and Andrew Garfield, she looked like she was at least like 70 something, and in this one, she looked like she was like 35.
Yeah. Tom Holland, Spider-Man gives us a very young Aunt May, and everybody's looking at her like, hey, you want to go on a date? Hey, you want to go on a date? It's like, wait a minute, that's not what Aunt May is supposed to be doing. But this Aunt May acted very differently in this episode than some of the other movies, right, Sebastian? As far as, the kinds of things that she did in the film.
Yes.
She was very heroic.
Yeah. More than in the other movies, she was kind of this side character who was helping along the way. Right. Whereas here, I was like, whoa, superhero Aunt May, huh? She was like, get back. I'm the auntie. You the nephew. She was coming to the rescue, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
And then they raised the stakes in it, right? Since we've already spoiled some. We already given away some surprises. We'll give the rest of the spoil is that they really raised the stakes when Aunt May. What happened
with Aunt May? What happened with Aunt May?
She had died at almost the end of the movie.
Yeah, and the Goblin did it to her. I mean, you were just like, yikes, dude. Mm-hmm. You killed Aunt May. This is serious.
Yeah. And that was actually kind of cool how it's in the Tobey Maguire universe and in the Andrew Garfield, Uncle Ben had died, but in this one, it's the other way around.
Got it. Yes.
Kind of a twist, huh? Kind of a twist. And so what do you think about the fact that they pulled Doctor Strange into this story? I mean, the trailers, so we've given away a lot of the surprises. The trailers only talked about Doctor Strange. And what do you think about Doctor Strange's role in this whole Spider-Man deal?
I think that it was just at the very end when Doctor Strange was trying to pull everything back together. I think that also when he got trapped in the mirror world, I think that ties in with how in the other Spider-Man movies, Doctor Strange didn't exist. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to pull together everything so all the other people don't come together. And if he doesn't do that, then he probably wouldn't exist at all.
Whoa.
Oh, man. Okay.
Wow. I think you have totally unpacked the multiverse there, Sebastian,
Yeah.
of Bash Bash Gaming. So everybody needs to check out Sebastian's Bash Bash Gaming, because if he's breaking down the multiverse like this, I know that you're gonna love his gaming site. Claude, what about yourself? What did you think about this whole pulling Spider-Man into all these other Marvel characters and then unpacking with Doctor Strange?
Well, I thought it was just overall just definitely just an amazing idea. The whole idea of I like the way the sort of the multiverse. It seemed like a very, very big thing, but then the reason why it was brought together, I thought was they made fun of that, in
Sure.
terms of he just wanted he wanted to get into college, and Doctor Strange said, well, did you call the college back? So I thought that was funny, because it was Doctor Strange has these powers, but then when he's dealing with the kids, there's certain things he can't anticipate in terms of dealing with kids, which sort of makes sense. And
yes, Sebastian, did you notice how Peter asked the one thing, but then he wasn't exactly sure what he wanted, and he kept telling him, "Can you change it a little? Can you change it a little bit more?"
Yeah. He's like, can you let this person know? No, this person. He's like, I want all my friends to know. But then Doctor Strange just stopped the spell. But in reality, he didn't actually. Remember, he trapped it into the little spell box. And also, another thing that ties in with Doctor Strange when he was trying to pull everything together again. When all the villains came, Electro asked one question. I expected there to be a black Spider-Man.
Yes.
Ties in to the entire multiverse of Miles Morales and all the other Spider-Man.
Yes, I was loving that. Weren't you loving that? I thought that was cool. Hey, he almost could have turned to the camera and winked. It was like, hey, matter of fact, bring Miles on in. Come on, Miles, just swing on in here. One more Spider-Man. And I think it's also interesting that Miles Morales already did a multiverse movie, right? Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse already unpacked the fact that there could be more than one Spider-Man. And I've told your uncle this many times. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite comic movie of all time. I used to have other comic movies that I like better, but then I just changed my mind. I just love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And because it did all those crazy things that it gave us Porker Spidey. Am I saying his name wrong? Porker Spidey. Spider Pig.
Spider Pig.
Yes.
We got Spider Pig. We got Manga Spider, the robot spider creature controlled by the Japanese girl. We got
Spider-Man.
We got Spider-Man who's a little bit. You got Spider-Man who's a little bit kind of paunchy. He needed a few more sit-ups. Ate too many donuts. Spider-Man, right? And then we had Film Noir Spider-Man, who's in black and white, and the wind's always blowing, even if it's not windy.
So, what did you think about all the stuff put together? What was your?
So having the three in there, I thought was just great nostalgia candy. I mean, they totally tricked us, right? Even in the commercials, they showed Tom Holland landing on the Statue of Liberty by himself, taking on the Sandman and Electro and who was the third person? Lizard Man, I guess. Lizard Man.
Yeah, Lizard Man. He's pretty
right. But that was a total
forgettable.
that was a total fake out, right? Because as we know in the movie, all three of them land on the Statue of Liberty in the total cool intro sequence, and they kept it a complete secret, or they tried to keep it a secret as long as possible. And so I thought that was cool, especially again, since we had already received multiverse on a very excellent film of the Miles Morales Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They did a nice job of covering the same ground again, but in the new live action way. I think they did a pretty credible job. I don't like this film better. I still love Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse better, but they did a nice job. And it's going to be interesting because now the next movie coming up for Doctor Strange goes even further into the multiverse. Are you looking forward to that? What do you think about that one, Sebastian?
I think that one would probably also unpack some of the things that we learned about in this movie. Like, maybe they would keep on about Spider-Man. Maybe this wouldn't be anything about Spider-Man. Maybe it would be just like this kind of sequel. Maybe it would be like this kind of sequel to Spider-Man No Way Home. Or it would just be this multiverse film.
And what
Sure.
do you think it could mean something for the Marvel movies in the future too?
I probably think it could. And another thing, maybe they would get into the box where Doctor Strange trapped the spell in. Maybe they would get into that in the next movie.
Yeah, good point, right? The box and what it does and what it already did, right? Because Doctor Strange was saying this is kind of changing things. And in the end, it did change things because he finally said, okay, everybody forgets me. And so then no one remembers who Parker is. He can't even graduate college. He had a little book on his desk. He had a GED book on his desk. So he not only doesn't get to go to the college that he wanted to go to, since they don't know who he is, he's got to do high school over again, or he's got to take the GED test
to go to college.
To go to college. I mean, like nobody knows who he is.
Yeah. And also in the post-credit scene, it was kind of cool how even the people who were like really friends with him, they were friends with him and all that. And it's also kind of cool how they remember Spider-Man. They remember that Spider-Man existed, but they don't know that Spider-Man is Peter Parker or that Peter Parker even existed.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool and a little sad. Now he's got to be the lonely hero, right? Yeah.
So do you think that he will, is he going to stay being a lonely hero? Do you think that he may try to, what do you think? Do you think that MJ and the friend will be in other movies?
I probably think so. And also, this doesn't really tie into the movies. It's not really canon. But there was a PS4 video game based off Spider-Man PS4, and it kind of showed all the suits through the years. It had the original suit, the red and blue suit, and then it showed the upgraded suit from Spider-Man No Way Home and all those. It showed all the different suits through the years. It showed all the comic suits. That doesn't really tie into the movie at all. I just thought I would say that.
Yeah, but what do you think about the game?
It ties into the story. It ties into different stories, though, and he is great at that game. I'm telling you.
I'm sure you talked about that on Bash Gaming, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's amazing, Sebastian. I want to thank you for joining us on the show. You are totally schooling us on the Spider-Man Spider-Verse, both in movies and animation and in video gaming, as well as this excellent review of Spider-Man No Way Home. So let's review what we like to give.
Telling us how to improve our show too. Yes.
Yes. So we're going to try to.
We're going to do a review, and we're going to come up with how many Power Fists we'll give the movies. All right. So if you are the guest, you're gonna you go. We'll let you go first. How many?
All four.
4 from Sebastian. Outstanding. And Claude, what do you think?
You know what? I'm gonna give it 3.5.
3.5 from Claude. Very good. I give it 3 fists out of 4. I really enjoyed it. I'm not ready to give it 4 because I be loving me some Miles. I love me some Miles. but this was really, really good. I mean, the big cast, great to see. Oh my goodness, great to see all of these folks. Willem Dafoe, ooh, he was the spookiest, meanest he's been. Doc Ock, like
No
you
mask,
said,
no mask needed for Willem Dafoe. No mask was needed. That was
exactly.
always,
They smashed the mask
that
and he was
never worked for
scarier.
me. I'm glad they corrected that. Yeah.
Yeah, and one last thing in the end credits, I think it was kind of cool how they brought in Wanda, because she in the show WandaVision, she was also kind of talking about the multiverse, like say like all the theories, everything. She brought Vision back. She did everything like that. So she kind of helped with the multiverse. So I thought it was kind of cool in the end credit scene where they brought Wanda into this, which I also think she will maybe be a part of the Doctor Strange multiverse movie.
Okay, well, we're gonna be looking forward. Now you got me totally hyped, Sebastian, to see it. So I want to thank you, Sebastian. I want to tell folks to look for, like, comment, and subscribe at Bash Bash Gaming. That's where our special guest Sebastian is from. Thank you for being on the show, Sebastian.
As well as subscribe, like, and comment to Movie Review Men.
Well,
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Sebastian. I'm Jeff Johnson.
We're gonna give a pound up. Boom.
That's my man. I'm Jeff Johnson. This is
Claude Faitier and
Sebastian Tarpley.
and we will see you next time.